What's good, y'all? It's your boy Mixtape Moth, and today we're going to talk about this brand new Lupe Fiasco album entitled Drill, Music, and Zion. So, Lupe Fiasco is an artist who I have respect for because of his intricate rapping ability and the messages in his music. He's a top tiered rapper who makes very thoughtful and intelligent content. That being said, I haven't consistently kept up with all of his projects. The last album that I listened to from him was Lasers, which caused me to not care all too much about his subsequent releases. However, I did really enjoy his first two albums, Food and Liquor and The Cool. That brings us to his new project, Drill, Music, and Zion. It has an interesting title that suggests Lupe will possibly be breaking down his thoughts on the state of drill rap. It's definitely a subject that warrants some discussion and reflection, especially from an OG. But this project contains 10 songs and lasts approximately 41 minutes. All of the production was handled by Soundtrack, who is one of Lupe's earlier and go-to producers who he has great chemistry with. And allegedly, the two created this album in less than 3 days. But with that being said, let me go ahead and just hit y'all with this track-by-track breakdown. This thing opens with The Lion's Dean, which contains some moving spoken word poetry from Aisha Jaco that is setting the scene for Lupe to come in and do his thing. The first actual song is Gotti. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but it has a mellow, jazzy sax beat that's very classy, but my least favorite on the project. Something about this instrumental reminded me of some of the production that I didn't love off Skyzoo's All the Brilliant Things album, which was a dope album, but some of the jazz beats on there didn't do it for me, but I digress. On this record, Lupe is talking about, I believe, how we are disconnected as a society. I could be wrong, but I believe he's taking shots at capitalism and the American way. But either way, his bars were well penned and the rhyme schemes were dope. He raps, "You decide, apple pie or the fries come with the snake. Prosperous gospel got all choirs on the case. Poverty pimpin' angel wings flies on her face." So yeah, solid opener, but the beat was just okay to me. The next track, Autobado, has a moody trap-like beat that brings up the energy level. I can see some people disliking this particular style of production, but I enjoyed it. And he is approaching the hook with more of a trap-like cadence as well. The following line stood out. "What's an infrared dot to a whole .gov? Looking right into the eyes of a thug. Lil dumb street shit don't apply to the plug." And I'm pretty sure he was implying that the biggest gangsters or the biggest plugs are found within our government. On the second verse, he has a rhyme scheme dealing with ghostwriters that I thought was pretty cool. The wordplay was definitely stellar. So yeah, overall, I did enjoy the energy, the vibes, and lyrical content on this track. Song 4, Precious Things, has a softer and pensive instrumental with hypnotic synths and a stunning hook from Nyara, and I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that name wrong. This is a conceptual record dealing with references to hands. There's also this theme about being careful of the things that we put too much of an emphasis on. So there's a cautionary element to this song. Lupe states, "Never bite the hands that feed, but when those same hands grab the gats and up their sleeves, they gather traps and apparatus for your griefs. They catch you lacking, wrap around your hatch and squeeze. I swear my hands were pure. I gave them manicures, became my adversaries, became my saboteurs. I put carrots on them, just like rabbit lure." So it's just a glimpse at some of the top-notch writing and wordplay on this album. The subsequent track, Kiosk, is a highlight, and this has a mesmerizing piano instrumental that is sweet and mellow, and this one deals with hip-hop's obsession with jewelry. The first couple of verses are from the perspective of the jewelers who have a kiosk in the middle of the mall. I'm sure most of us have heard the jokes about people getting roasted for buying their jewelry in the middle of the mall. It's probably fake. The diamonds are going to be a little bit cloudy. The clarity is going to be whack. The reality is that anyone with swag or a lot of money or people that care about their authenticity with their jewelry is not going to go shopping for it in the middle of the mall. However, as Lupe points out, these kiosk workers can be very persuasive with their aggressive sales pitches, like the matching ring chain gonna look insane when you untuck it. They'll never know the difference even if you let them touch it. Now, if you're a rapper or a trapper on the job, it don't really matter if you get jacked or robbed. On the third verse, Lupe acknowledges that hip hop's obsession with jewelry can be a bit toxic, but he's also guilty of looking at jewelry as a way to take his mind off the daily stressors. And I can personally relate to this because I used to have jewelry, and I remember the feeling, the rush that being iced out gave me. Matter of fact, this track makes me want to hit the jewelry store right now. Yes, I know I'm missing the message of what Lupe is talking about. Track 6, Miss Mural, is the third installment to his Mural trilogy, and this contains some jazzier boom bap production with sparkling pianos and a sax on the hook. It's a conceptual record about art that is very deep and emotionally compelling. It focuses on a conversation between a painter and the patron, the painter being Lupe, while the patron could be looked at as either the audience or the record industry. Lupe states, "Professionally accept what ethically I hate, so in all of my work you see this wrestling with fate." So here, Lupe is admitting to having to embrace the commercial world even when he doesn't want to. I think if you are a creative, whether you are a musician, artist, or writer, then you can relate to this track. And how artists sometimes get boxed in or are forced to switch things up in order to make money just to survive, and then you have to deal with the audience critiquing your artwork. Track 7, Naomi, has a jazzy boom bap instrumental with a faint vocal harmony. He is giving out some game on this record as well as flexing his lyrical dexterity. He states, "Stay away from rebels worshiping the devil like jazz. When heaven loses a job, hell wins staff." I know my Wu-Tang heads out there were able to pick up on that. I also dug his Malcolm X scheme on the second verse. After this is drill music in Zion, which has a somber brass heavy instrumental. Lupe's singing on the hook is soulful and heartfelt. I really feel he killed this hook. Now, there is a lot to unpack here lyrically. Some of the stuff I'd probably have to sit with longer to fully decipher, but he is doing a lot of heavy social commentary, speaking on the conditions that exist for drill music to prosper. Then on Seattle, the tempo gets turned up just a notch and we get a breezier trap pop instrumental that's ultra smooth, and once again a killer hook from Nyaria, who was 3 for 3 on this album. This track is all about Lupe staying true to himself, his fans, and the streets, as it is stated on the hook that he kept his promise to the streets. So through it all, he was able to still remain Westside Chicago Lou. But it is possible that he's also suggesting that this mindset is what is also trapping a lot of younger artists. I could be wrong though, but it made me think that you can show all the love to the streets, but you probably won't get it back. And matter of fact, you might get some slugs in your back. But altogether, it's one of my favorite songs due to the beat, melody, flow, and lyrical content. Then the album wraps up with Folks Nem, which is the Chicago drill saying. It's quite possibly Lupe's deepest song on this album. He offers 4 thought-provoking verses over this sublime and introspective beat. The theme to this record is anti-violence, but it's also about Lupe wishing that rappers were actually lying in their raps instead of keeping it so damn real all the time. Because this constant reality-based content is contributing to artists getting killed. As Lupe solemnly states in the first verse, rappers die too much. That's it. That's the verse. And once again on this album, Lupe gives us some honest self-reflection that he is also part of the problem, since he has been surrounded by guns and killers in the past too. The following lines really stood out. What's the difference between a posthumous album and a life insurance policy? Spotify, $1's worth, what $1 buy? Go monetize. As a whole, it's a fantastic closer with some of the most poignant lyricism on the album. I definitely felt this record. Overall, I give this project a rating of 4 mics. There was a lot of dense and clever lyricism to unpack that will likely go over some people's heads. I know it went over mine. That's why I had to sit with it multiple times. I'm not ashamed to admit it. And I still didn't get all of what he was trying to say, but I could appreciate the artistic quality to this album. And if I had to compare this project to Kendrick's most recent album, then I would say that I enjoyed this Lupe more. And the reason that I'm making such a comparison is because both albums have very substantive and socially conscious material. I did enjoy the production for the most part. The only thing that I could have used possibly was one more up-tempo instrumental, but I really didn't have too many issues with it sonically. Topically, Lupe did touch upon drill without being too obvious or preachy, which I thought was good. So I had admitted earlier in this review that I had not heard his most recent projects prior to this. So Lupe fans, in the comment section, let me know where this album ranks in his overall discography. My favorite tracks include Autobado, Kiosk, Miss Mural, Drill Music in Zion, Seattle, and Folks Them. Let me know what you thought about this album in the comment section below. It's your boy Mixtape Moth. I'm signing out, but be sure to hit that like button and please subscribe. As always, it's peace and blessings. Lupe Fiasco, Drill Music in Zion 1.